So, hello students. Today we are going to study a topic under NPO. The name of the topic is Fund-Based Accounting. Okay. So let us understand what is a fund-based accounting. Normally, we have a capital fund, which is generally there like other capitals. Okay. However, capital fund is different than that of capital in the other business for NPO. In fund-based accounting, what happens is a separate fund is created, okay, which is used for a specific purpose. Okay, it has some specific purpose, and that is why it is known as fund-based accounting. Okay, so what happens in this system, a fund is taken as an independent accounting entity. Okay, and under this system, the accounting income related to that particular fund are being credited to that particular fund. Okay, and the payment or expenses are debited to it. For example, let us suppose there is a building fund. Okay, there is a building fund, and a building fund of rupees say 5 lakh, and during the year they receive another fund as a donation for building again, okay, for rupees say 1 lakh. So what happens? The building fund will not be treated as income, rather this donation of building fund during the year will be added to the fund that is already existing. So now the fund becomes 6 lakh rupees. Okay, and if there is any expenses related to it, it will be subtracted from the fund itself. Suppose there is some expenses related to building 50,000, so that will be subtracted from the building fund rather than showing it in a expenses of income expenditure account. Okay, again any receipts or any income related to the fund, okay, like donation is income, inflow of money related to the fund, so it will be added to the fund account, it will be credited to the fund account. And any expenses related to the fund, again expenses on repair of buildings or something like that will be related to that particular fund, will be subtracted from the fund itself. And finally there will be a fund of 5,50,000 which will be shown. Is it clear? So however, let us see examples for the NPO, like for the funds are school funds, college funds, building fund, which may be created, and amount received on account of this fund will be added to the fund, and expenditure on construction or building will be paid out of this fund. Okay, there are also general fund in this system which can be used for general purposes. Okay, these funds can be either specific or general. So general funds can be used for any general purposes, but the specific fund should be used for only for the things for which the fund was received for. Okay, I hope you have understood the meaning of fund-based accounting. However, there are some questions, so let us see to the questions and see how this fund-based accounting are being shown in the books of accounts. Okay, let us see the accounting treatment of the funds. So you can see the question on the screen. So the question is, how would you show or how would the items be dealt in preparing of final accounts for the year ended 2019? Okay, this date is very important for any non-profit organization. So the year ends on 2019, 31st March 2019. So let us see case 1. There's a first case. Okay, these are all independent case and will be solved separately. So let us start with case 1. So expenditure on construction of pavilion is 6 lakh. So we will look for pavilion fund. We will look for pavilion fund if it is there or not. Let us read the question further. The construction work is in progress and yet to be completed. So the construction which was the expenditure which was incurred in construction was 6 lakh, and this construction has not been completed and it is yet to be completed. Okay, and there is a capital fund of rupees 20 lakh in the beginning of the year. So therefore, how would you show this item in the final accounts of the non-profit organization? So definitely this will not go in the income expenditure, rather it will be shown in the balance sheet. So let us draw a small balance sheet, an extract of balance sheet, which would look something like this. Balance sheet as at 31st March 2019. This side is liability, this side is assets, and that is the amount column. Okay, Fine. So roughly a balance sheet would look like this. Okay, so let us see. There is an expenditure incurred in the construction of pavilion. So definitely there will be an asset created for it. So pavilion will be rupees 6 lakh. Okay, and since it is work in progress, yet it will be an asset, and there is a capital fund which was already present, okay, of rupees 20 lakh. So this is how you would show the first case that is given in the question. Okay, now let us see to the second case. It's very simple, right? Nothing has to be shown. If you want to see the journal entry of this particular event, the journal entry would be pavilion account debit to cash or bank. So therefore you see one asset is increasing and another asset is decreasing, and the capital fund is intact as it is. Okay, there is no effect on capital account, because whatever capital 20 lakh you have, that is there inside the cash, and the cash is being converted into pavilion. So that therefore the capital was shown 20 lakh and the pavilion was shown 6 lakh here. There was no change. However, you will see the changes in capital in the next case. So let us read out the next case. The second case would however be read as there was an expenditure on construction of pavilion, okay, for which the journal entry would be the same as it is there, and the construction of the work is in progress and yet to be completed. Fine. Yes, there is a pavilion fund now. There is already a pavilion fund of rupees 10 lakh. Okay, and there is also a capital fund of 20 lakh. So there is opening pavilion fund and opening capital fund of 10 lakh and 20 lakh respectively. So let us understand what has happened here. Okay, there was a pavilion fund of 10 lakh, and during the year they have constructed a pavilion which is under construction. So at the end of the year there is a pavilion which is an asset, okay, of 6 lakh. Agreed? Fine. So at the beginning of the year there was a pavilion fund of 10 lakh, and at the end of the year the pavilion fund would be 4 lakh. Okay, let us understand the pavilion fund adjustment through a journal entry. So you'll have to reduce the pavilion fund. So if pavilion fund being a liability, and if it is reduced, will be debited. So pavilion fund account debited, how much? 6 lakh. 2. So this pavilion fund is being now reduced and then transferred to capital fund, okay, of rupees 6 lakh. What has happened again? What has happened is, when you had created a pavilion fund, say whatever the date, okay, before 31st March 2018, whatever date may be, when you created a pavilion fund, you had credited back then. Okay, and since now you have already constructed a pavilion, and which 6 lakh was already being incurred, this 6 lakh has to be taken from pavilion fund. That means the pavilion fund has to be reduced by 6 lakh. So we have already reduced the pavilion fund by debiting the pavilion fund account. But then we have to credit it. We have to transfer it somewhere, right? After reducing the pavilion fund. So we have transferred this pavilion fund to capital fund account. So therefore, how would this be shown in the balance sheet? Capital fund, which was 20 lakh before, will now be increased as there is a transfer from pavilion fund. How much is that? 6 lakh. Therefore your capital fund will become 26 lakh now. However, your pavilion fund was 10 lakh previously, and now you have incurred expenditure on construction of pavilion, that is 6 lakh. So therefore your pavilion fund will now be reduced to 4 lakh. So this is how it will be shown in the balance sheet, in the final account of NPO. So let me summarize the whole thing again. The case 2, there was a pavilion fund of 10 lakh, you have constructed it, a pavilion of 6 lakh, so therefore your pavilion fund has become 4 lakh. Clear? 6 lakh, a new pavilion has been created, so it's been shown in the asset side. Okay, how capital has been increased? Since you have reduced the pavilion fund by 6 lakh, it was then transferred to capital fund. Therefore your capital fund has become 26 lakh now. So this is how it will be shown in the extract of balance sheet in the final account of NPO. Let us read the third case now. Okay. However, the third case says that again there was a construction of pavilion of 6 lakh. This construction was work in progress and has not been completed. So the expenditure incurred on construction of pavilion will still remain the same. Okay, this will be the entry for expenditure on pavilion. Okay, and there is a pavilion fund already in the books of account of how much? 10 lakh. Okay, a 10 lakh pavilion fund is already there in the books of account, and a capital fund of 20 lakh. Okay. In the last, however, it is mentioned that there is a donation received for pavilion fund on 1st January 2019, rupees 5 lakh. So therefore you can say your pavilion fund was increased by rupees 5 lakh during the year, and there was a 6 lakh expenses on pavilion fund. I mean, like pavilion, construction of pavilion has incurred an expense of 6 lakh. So however, this construction of pavilion will be shown in the asset side as construction. Okay, and in the pavilion fund there was 10 lakh at the beginning. During the year you got 5 lakh donation and there is a 6 lakh expenditure on it. So how you will show this in the final account? So capital fund was 20 lakh and the 6 lakh which was incurred will be transferred to capital fund now. So 6 lakh this will be transferred from pavilion fund. So your capital will now become 26 lakh. Okay, and the pavilion fund which was 10 lakh before, you receive a donation of 5 lakh now, and there was an expenditure on pavilion which was 6 lakh. So therefore your pavilion fund will now become 9 lakh rupees. Okay, let me summarize the whole thing again. You had a pavilion fund of 10 lakh, receive a donation of 5 lakh, and there was an expenditure of 6 lakh. So therefore your pavilion fund became 9 lakh, which is shown it here. So your 9 lakh pavilion fund is shown here. Okay, and the capital fund being 20 lakh, there was a 6 lakh fund which was being transferred to capital fund, and then the capital fund has become 26 lakh here. Okay, I hope you have understood this. If you have any question regarding this, you can comment below. If you like this, like this video, like the channel, and if you want to share with your friends, do share with your friends. Okay, thank you.